John Wick steps into the neon-lit chaos of the Red Circle. The countdown begins. One by one, bodies will fall. We're about to witness an unreal scene, and I tell you that even movie cinematics like Fast and Furious are taking notes from these guys. Keanu Reeves, who stars as the famous character John Wick, blew my mind in this part of the movie. But before we dive in, for those who don't know, John Wick is portrayed as an almost mythical assassin. He's not just good, this man is legendary. The mere mention of his name sends chills down the spines of criminals, and his reputation in the assassin underworld is near godlike. In the movie, he's introduced as the Baba Yaga, but it's clarified that he's not actually the boogeyman. He's the guy you send to end the boogeyman. That already sets the bar impossibly high. He's a master of gun fu. John survives getting shot, stabbed, hit by cars, and thrown off buildings. And still gets up like he's training to be the invincible warrior. Imagine a man you send to put an end to the toughest of men retires for love, and just before he could have a comfortable life, his wife bites the dust. In his grieving moments, an unlucky, misfortunate, spoiled rich kid robs him of his car and also kills his dog. This unfortunate person is Yosef. Notice that he's standing across the road and watching some guys make their way into the club. After making their way inside, they go straight to Yosef. Now, that guy in the water is the one that John Wick is after. For some reason, he feels invincible, but even the guards warn him of the terror that's coming his way.
Are you scared of the fucking boogeyman? I'm not. No. But you should be.
Wick uses the back door because of the number of people crowding the front entrance. Since it's a club, it's definitely going to be rowdy, and as you've noticed, the lighting is low. This level of illumination makes it easier for someone dressed in black to blend in easily. The dim light effect and the underground music makes it easier for Wick to sneak into the venue without being noticed. The guy by the mirror notices something slightly off, but because the lights were low and Wick was so sleek, he didn't notice. This effect made it so easy for Wick to take out a guy from behind, and the man standing in front of a mirror doesn't notice anything until he looks into the reflection. The low lights and blind spots made it easy for Wick to move around in the shadows. He's navigating through blind spots so people monitoring from the control room don't notice him. Guards walking around would barely see because of the dim lighting too. The music makes the scene feel light, and the color and cinematography pull your full attention away from the fact that, one by one, people are biting the dust at Wick's hands. This is actually termed aestheticized violence. The combination of stylish visuals, music, and choreography makes violence feel almost artistic or surreal rather than horrifying. Neon red and blue dominate the scene. Red, the color of rage and blood, fills the club as John carves through his enemies. Blue, a stark contrast, represents the cold, calculated nature of his revenge. The lighting pulses with the music. The rapid strobe effects make the violence feel almost surreal, like a deadly dance unfolding in slow motion. Shadows and silhouettes enhance the tension. There are moments when John isn't fully visible, just a shadow moving across the screen, making the viewer anticipate his next move. Couple the distraction effect of the visuals and sound with the inevitable execution, or silent takedown technique, and it just blows my mind. This technique makes it painfully clear that a bad guy is doomed before it even happens. But instead of a loud, dramatic fight, the execution is quiet, methodical, and almost businesslike. The only real question is how the bad guy will meet his fate. So far, the movie has achieved one very important thing: the stealth effect. Wick hasn't been using his gun, nor has he been making a ruckus by exchanging blows or breaking glass, as that would blow his cover. But a man surrounded by more than 20 enemies can't sneak up on all of them without the stealth eventually breaking down. Here's the guy that finally shattered the silence, even though Wick tried to end him as fast as possible. After the stealth factor was removed, there was no need to hold back anymore. If you've noticed, the camera work is fast and precise, placing you in a point of view where you can easily understand how Wick disarms, shoots, and even evades bullets. These sequences use two major camera styles: gimbal-stabilized combat cam and profile tracking shot, which enhance the fluidity and intensity of the action. Wick is portrayed as decisive, making split-second decisions with absolute precision. However, there's one thing I don't quite understand. When Wick pulled out his gun, he shot at everyone except Yosef, even though he had a clear shot. For a second, you can see hesitation, the world flashing in his eyes, as if something is holding him back. The moment the first bullet is fired, the nightclub transforms into a battleground. Chaos choreographed to perfection. The combination of dynamic camera angles, lighting, and Wick's lethal efficiency creates an action-packed sequence that keeps the audience on edge. Every move he makes is calculated yet brutal, reinforcing why this man is feared in the assassin underworld. But what makes this scene one of the most intense and visually striking gunfights in modern action cinema? His expression. His expression never changes. There's no anger, no adrenaline-fueled fury, just emptiness. His gaze is cold, his mind locked in a state of absolute control. He isn't killing out of emotion, he's killing because that's what he does. That's what he is. Gunfights in most Hollywood films tend to be messy. Heroes spray bullets wildly, hide behind cover, and engage in prolonged firefights. But John Wick? He's an executioner. His fighting style is a mix of gun fu, judo, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Instead of hiding, he advances. Instead of wasting bullets, he ensures every shot is a kill. Headshots are his signature: quick, brutal, and final. But there's something eerie about how he moves. There's no hesitation, no wasted motion. His face is devoid of emotion, his focus absolute. It's as if the act of killing is no different to him than breathing. Action scenes aren't just about visuals, they're about sound. The Red Circle Shootout is a masterclass in sonic design. Seeing Yosef on the run sends a message to us, the viewers, of just how weak a character he is, and as he walked through the hallway in fear, he informed the guards that Wick was here. The ops were dressed in red shirts, while those of higher rank wore white shirts, but all were in suits. This made it easy to identify who was coming after Wick. Fast and fully focused, Wick wasted no time in taking down everyone that crossed his path. His movements were swift and precise, eliminating threats without hesitation. The chaos added to the excitement, making the scene even more intense. Despite the increasing action, the distraction effect wasn't entirely removed. The funky music and the lack of excessive blood in the scene made it a lot less brutal to watch. If you look closely at Wick's technique here, you'll notice how he seamlessly transitions between gun fu and jiu-jitsu. This isn't just for style, it's designed for maximum efficiency, allowing him to take down enemies in one fluid motion. Every punch, gunshot, and takedown felt intentional, reinforcing Wick's reputation as the unstoppable force in this underworld. John's decision to let Yosef live earlier wasn't just about prolonging the hunt, it was psychological warfare. By delaying the inevitable, he forces Yosef to marinate in his own fear, making him a participant in his own demise rather than a mere victim. This isn't a rushed execution, it's a calculated dismantling of his enemy's sense of control. Yosef's desperate sprint through the dance floor is the unraveling of his false security, the moment he truly understands that there's no escape. The oblivious dancers serve as a haunting contrast to the precision of the action. Their fluid, uncoordinated movements, driven by the music, clash with John's methodical, purposeful motion. The cinematography heightens this contrast. Wide shots show the sheer number of people lost in their own world, while tight tracking shots keep us locked onto John, emphasizing his singular focus. The use of strobe lighting further disorients the audience, making the bursts of gunfire feel like sudden flashes of reality breaking through the club's hypnotic atmosphere. Now, this is where John's exhaustion really shows. The fight shifts from precise movements to something rough and desperate. Watch how the camera gets shakier, moving with the struggle. The hit lands. John stumbles. This fight feels real. John is tough, but not invincible. If he never took damage, there'd be no tension. The moment before he's thrown off the balcony, the camera pauses just long enough to make us feel it. And when he lands, the club music keeps playing. But that heavy thud pulls us out of the rhythm. At this point, Yosef already left the venue, and when John stepped out, Yosef tried to call one of his bodyguards. But it was John who picked up the call and told him the exact same thing Yosef said when he wanted to take John's Mustang at first.
Victor's dead.
One thing that makes this sequence even more insane is the realism mixed with the artistic execution. In most action movies, gunfights feel exaggerated. Heroes spray bullets wildly, take cover behind random objects, and somehow never get hit. But here, Wick doesn't just shoot randomly. Every single shot is deliberate. He doesn't just fire at bodies, he aims for the head. Because in a world of body armor, that's the only guaranteed kill. And the best part, he never wastes bullets. Every reload is calculated. And unlike in most Hollywood movies, you actually see him running out of ammo and adjusting on the fly. This makes him feel more tactical, like a true professional, rather than just an overpowered action hero. And speaking of realism, the hand-to-hand combat in this scene is another masterpiece. Wick doesn't just fight, he controls the fight. The way he moves through the environment is pure tactical efficiency. Every takedown, every judo throw, and every strike is meant to put his enemies down as quickly as possible. If he can take someone out in one move, he does. There's no unnecessary flipping, no dramatic pauses, just raw, precise violence. But here's what's really genius about this sequence. John Wick never looks angry. Most action heroes fight with rage, yelling and gritting their teeth. Wick? He doesn't even flinch. His face is cold, detached, like he's performing a routine. That makes him even scarier. He's not killing out of rage, he's killing because it's just what he does. And that's where Keanu Reeves' performance shines. He makes Wick feel like an unstoppable force, but not in a superhero way, more like a mythical assassin who's just doing his job. And let's not forget the clubgoers. One of the funniest things in this scene is how people keep dancing like nothing's happening. Wick is executing guys left and right, and yet half the club is still lost in the music. It's both darkly comedic and adds to the surreal tone. It shows how desensitized this world is to violence, something that will become a running theme throughout the series. The Red Circle Shootout isn't just an action scene. It's a masterclass in controlled chaos, a battle of bullets and brutality, proving once again that John Wick isn't just an assassin. He's a force of nature. What do you think makes this scene so iconic? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love deep dives into legendary action sequences like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. This has been Jack, bringing you another cinematic breakdown. Until next time, stay sharp and keep your eyes on the action.